Hi everyone, this is FE2000. I'm going to show you how to paint with acrylic paints. Acrylic paints are plastic based, so if you want something that really want to do something fancy or something like this, I really recommend acrylic paints. So what we're so with acrylic paints, you really need to make sure that it's very clever to actually mix colors, because if you don't, it just kind of makes it look a bit crappy. You also really need to be sure that to make sure you wash your brushes really well after using acrylic paints. Otherwise, you can ruin the brush and you won't be able to paint with them again. So I have a theory that if you wash a brush that's been ruined by acrylic paint with paint thinner, that it might help it. It's just a theory that I came up with, but I wouldn't really recommend trying it because I haven't tried it myself yet. So right here is a abstract painting that I've been working on for a while now. So what I've used is a mechanical pencil to sketch out a drawing on a canvas. So canvas. So I have an idea what I want to paint. So now that I've finished that step, I'm going to start painting right now. So and so I'm going to try to not make let any of the same colors touch, because I really want this to be a little abstract, you know. So the main colors I'm using right here are yellow, white, and blue, and a little bit of black. I'm I'm not really using the black much. I'm only using a tiny bit, like a tiny dab, just to make a color a bit darker and a darker shade. You have to be really careful not to use too much black, otherwise it can ruin the color that you're trying to make. And as you can see right now, I'm adding a lot of white because actually white's really a really handy color to have while you're painting, because it's you can make lighter shades, and you can use it to make lighter shades of a color that you're trying to get. It's actually pretty handy, and I actually use the white color a lot more than you would have expected. So this is actually my first tutorial video, so just let me know what you think, or subscribe, leave some comments, tell me what you think, and also if you want, leave a couple suggestions. This is actually my first video, and I'm just trying to make a successful channel. So the paintbrush that I'm using has a really tiny tip. I like these type of brushes that with the tiny tips, because it's easier to get into thin spaces like this one. It's also great for working on details and stuff like that. I actually use a small brush very often when I painted a painting that won best in school in the Scholastic Art competition. So right here you see I'm just gonna add a little bit of dabs right here. To make it look a little cool. And I'm gonna add some dots right here as well to give it a cool abstract look. abstract can be anything that you want. This is just an example. It doesn't have to be all cool and designy like this. It can be anything. Pablo Picasso pro- can, was living proof of that. So now what I'm going to do right now is just add a little bit of a tealish color right here. Some ways to take care of your paintbrushes when you're not using them is when you decide to use a different brush, you shake it off in a jar full of clean water and leave it in there while you use the other brush. It helps keep the paint that's still on the brush from drying. And with the paints, you want to keep them in a in a rather cool place because they can dry up even if they're still in their tubes. And acrylic paints are really expensive, so well, not exactly expensive, but more expensive than than watercolors and stuff like that. I mean, this one, this set right here. I mean, it also has the red, but I'm not using it. So I bought at a at a art store called Blix for around $20. I also bought a few canvases like this for maybe for around, I don't know, probably for another $20. So I ended up spending at least $40 on all in one day in the same store. But in my opinion, I think it's worth it. So this is just a that painting is just one of the many things that I painted. I mean, I painted a lot of other things. Like I had a dog that named Lady. She was the best dog, but she died last May. So after she died, in order to cope, with my loss, I created a just a sec. I'm trying to find it.